Hey card fighters, Saikyo Chime AL4 just got released in the English format, so today it's going to be time to do a breakdown of that set. Stand up! Vanguard! AL4 Strongest Team brings 4 new clans to standard format of Cardfight Vanguard, with addition of Shadow Paladin, Pale Moon, Murakumo and Dark Regulars. And this channel we've been talking about these 4 clans for quite some time in the past few weeks, with all the set breakdowns and deck profiles as we were preparing for AL4. And if you're an old watcher on the channel, if you've seen most of the videos in the past few weeks, then this video won't bring any new information to you, as this is a guideline to being prepared for all the information you need to know to go into AL4 as best as possible. So if you're a newcomer to the channel or just started with Cardfight Vanguard, then this video may be the best point to start it off if you want to learn more about these clans that are introduced into this set. Strongest Team AL4 focuses around Team Foo Fighters, and most specifically the 4 top fighters in Apex Limit 4 that are Suzuka Moriren, Narumi Asaka, Shinjo Tetsu and Hageki Kyo. These 4 fighters are playing the clans Shadow Paladin, Dark Regulars, Murakumo and Pale Moon. These 4 fighters are depicted in the anime as the first bad guys of the series and the evil team that our main cast has to defeat. And we can also see that very clear in the clans that they are playing and the whole aesthetic around them, because we have the Pale Moon is a demonic circus with all their evil magic. Dark Regulars is blatantly demons and vampires and succubuses, and we have ninjas and stealth dragons in the form of Murakumo. And the most obvious one is of course Shadow Paladin, as being the Dark Knights and the counter to Royal Paladin, as they are the evil Knights of the United Sanctuary. If any of these clans sound interesting to you, then check out my playlist that I made of all the different card reviews that I did about this set of all the 4 different clans, where I go over the information of every specific cards for a specific clan in detail on how good these cards are and how they might affect the meta and what my personal opinion is about the card. But if you want a more practical information, then you maybe want to check out this playlist video where I talked about my personal takes on the 5 different decks that you can make with these clans. And I misstated 5 because Murakumo is the only one that has a very specific 2 ways that you can build a deck that are very different. The other clans, you can build multiple types of decks, but most of the decks are very similar in the fact that how they function. But let's do a generic breakdown of every specific clan, so you might have a more feeling of what every clan represents in this set. So first off we have Shadow Paladin, and as I stated, Shadow Paladin is a very dark way of representing Royal Paladin, as they are the evil counterpart to the Royal Paladin. But not really at 100% flip to them, because they are still royal warriors in that case, but they are more in a more passionate way, as they want to showcase their dominance over their opponent. So and it's also very clear in their skills, because most of their skills have a specific effect that you need to have more rearguards than your opponent, and the amount of more rearguards will result in more power or more gain or more effects that can work. But they also have effects where they can superior call extra cards by calling them out the deck or calling them from hand to have more pressure on your opponent. But the most unique part about Shadow Paladin is that they have skills that allows you to sacrifice your own units to gain a power and pressure increase on other specific units on the field. And currently we only have that in the case of Phantom Blaster Dragon in this set, but as more sets will be introduced for Shadow Paladin with new support, these skills will be more prominent with more rearguards or more units that have these kinds of skills. The imaginary gift for Shadow Paladin is the Force Marker, and that's quite obvious in the way that Shadow Paladin is played, because they want to have a dominance over your opponent with high pressure attacks, because they can generate a lot of power with their rearguards. And by having these Force Markers, that will even increase even higher, so it's complementary to the fact that how Shadow Paladin works. Shadow Paladin is also a very versatile clan, and with that it also helps a lot that they have now access to the 13k base. Meaning that the Force Marker is a very helpful and welcome gift to Shadow Paladin. If this sounds interesting to you, then check out this video where I talk about the specific cards of Shadow Paladin they got in this set, and talk about how good I personally rate them and how you can work them out if you want to use them. And check out this video if you want to have a more insight into how I personally built the deck and how you can play with Shadow Paladin itself. Both of these videos are in the description down below. Alright, next up we have Dark Regulars. And this is an interesting, unique deck that works around using their soul. But not in the generic sense that we're used to in Vanguard, that we use soul to pay for our skills with soul blasting. This clan used soul to have a condition met with their specific cards. Because some cards in Dark Regulars force you to have a specific amount of cards in your soul. Maybe 10, maybe 8, maybe 12. These skills can range from insane things, you be able to hit high power columns from easily 60k and sometimes even higher to maybe 100k plus power columns. It can also mean that you can retire some cards from your graveyard, or maybe even with your VR, rewrite a new card from the soul and attack twice with your Vanguard to gain even an extra crit on the Vanguard, and also 2 imaginary gifts in 1 turn. Speaking of the imaginary gifts for this clan is Protect. And it's quite obvious in the way that Dark Regulars is working, because you want to ramp up your soul in the beginning of the early stage of the game, and you need to be able to get to your late stage of the game. And these Protect markers will definitely help you in sustaining yourself and to be able to go into your late game offensive. So if this clan sounds any interesting to you, then check out this video where I talk about the different cards on how they work and how I personally rate them. And if you want a more practical sample and how you want to see how you can build a deck, then check out this video where I go over my personal take on the deck and how you can kill your opponent the best and most effective way. Alright, next up we have Murakumo, and these are the first of the 2 ninja clans that we have in the Cards at Vanguard, the other meaning Nubatama, and we're going to get that one at the end of the year or just around the season switch to January. But Murakumo itself has an interesting way that you can copy your own unit. So basically the Kagebushi no Jutsu, if you're familiar with Naruto or Boruto. You're able to call out multiple cards with the same unit name from your deck to the field. So you can easily fill out your ranks with multiple copies of the same card. And we have an archetype that enables you to do that even more effectively by having cards in your deck that have the same name as other cards in the field. So you can effectively run 8 to maybe even 12 units with the same name by not even overriding the rules of Vanguard, where you can only have 4 cards of the same name in your deck when you're playing the game. So those are very interesting and fun to play. But the other main part of the deck is their VR, and that's the way that they can basically deny your opponent to even restand their Vanguard or rewrite their Vanguard. So they are stuck at a resting Vanguard for an entire turn. And to help even more with their insane pressure they can ditch out to their opponent, they were granted the imaginary gift marker of Axel. And this works very well with their mechanic, because they can easily copy new units to the field to these specific Axel circles. So they can fill out their Axel circles very effectively, unlike other Axel clans that need to have a lot of cards in hand to be able to call out to them. So that also makes Murakumo a very unique Axel clan, that they can superior call units to the field from deck. And if this sounds any interesting to you, then check out this video where I go over the specific cards for Murakumo. And if you want to have a more practical information about it, then I don't have only 1 deck profile for you available, but I have 2 deck profiles on Mandala Lord and Zanbaku respectively. And of course, all these videos are available in the descriptions down below. And lastly, we have my favorite deck of this set, and arguably one of my most favorite clans in the whole of Cards at Vanguard, and that is Pale Moon. Pale Moon is a deck that revolves completely around a circus act, so you can see a lot of demonic beasts, tamers, circus acts on them that are represented on cards and designs of units. And it's also very reminiscent of their mechanic that they are playing, because they also, like Dark Regulars, are a clan that forces around their soul. But unlike Dark Regulars, they don't really want to ramp up an enormous count of cards in your soul. They actually want to have specific units in their soul to be able to utilize their combos. Because Pale Moon can use effects to put cards into the soul and call out other cards from the soul. And by doing that, they can multi-attack and use crazy combos basically for indefinitely, as long as you can pay the cost or you can met certain conditions. And to complement this effect, they were also granted, like Murakumo, the Axel imaginary gift marker. And because they have these imaginary gifts, they can have their Axel marker, have a unit on that Axel marker, then put that unit back into the soul and call another unit to that Axel marker. And they can basically reuse the same Axel marker in one specific turn. And what also makes Pale Moon very unique among the other Axel clans is that, unlike those Axel clans that usually go off around their grade 3 turn, this clan can already go off on their first or second grade turn, because if they soul charge a specific card, they can already call out the grade 3 on their grade 2 turn and combo off and use already attack like 4 to 5 times if you're lucky with your amount of cards in your soul and have the right resources available. And it makes Pale Moon a very highly addictive combo deck that has indefinitely way of playing your games out. So it's unlikely that you will win or play a game twice in the exactly same way in about 100 different matches. So if this tickles your fancy, then check out this card review that I did on Pale Moon to learn about all the specific cards in this set. And if you want to have a practical information, then check out this deck profile I did on Golden Beast Tamer to learn how you can play the deck of Pale Moon. And of course, both of these videos are in the description down below. And with that, we ramped up every different clan that was introduced in AL4 Strongest Team, or better known as Strongest Team AL4. If any of these clans sounds interesting to you, then check out this playlist that I talked about at the beginning of the video, where I go over every single card that was introduced in this set for every specific clan. And if you want a more practical approach, then check out this playlist where I go over all the different decks that you can build within the 4 clans of this set. And with that, we conclude our set breakdown of Strongest Team AL4. And if you want to have more Vanguard content, then check out the channel where I go over more than only card reviews and deck profiles, because I have a couple of fight videos ready and some top 10s and top 5s. But we also are going to get much more fight videos with the introduction of tomorrow, where I go over a very interesting matchup that was with a very interesting way how that concluded. And we're also going to enter the new phase of Vanguard with all the new support that we're going to get with Neo Nectar, Gold Paladins and Angel Feathers. So there's a lot of upcoming videos about those 3 clans with this extra booster set that was just released in Japan at the same day that we got AL4 Strongest Team. And also a lot more interesting Vanguard content is coming at the horizon on this channel. So stick around, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button to be updated for all those amazing content that will be coming. And as always guys, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I'll see you guys in the next one.